it's good to fight through adversity. You know, a win is not going to be perfect every time, and we wasn't expecting it to be. We knew they were going to come out with a lot of energy and high effort. So we fought through it, and we came out with the win.
We're here. It's the regular season. The Garden Report is in full effect on CLNS Radio and Celtics blog. The Celtics won this one 112-95 because the scores matter in the regular season. This is the Garden Report. Here we are. We had a game tonight, and it was actually pretty entertaining. We're here with Jimmy Toscano from Comcast Sportsnet New England and Julian Edlow from the DraftKings Playbook in WEI. I'm Jared Weiss from CLNS Radio. If you're a longtime viewer of the show, you know how this thing works. We're mixing it up a little bit this year. Usually the show goes that I introduce everyone and they just continue to talk over me, but we can edit that out, right? For those of you that are new to the show this year, here's how it goes. It's a post-game show. Welcome to you. The post-game show, it's very much off the cuff. We try to make things fun and loose around here. We try to do some X's and O's talk, try to make things a little pretty detailed, but we fail half the time. But you know what? Let's thank our sponsors, Grandstand Tonight, who power this show. We're going to bring you, for the first time in the regular season, our new segment, the Grandstand Play of the Game. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but first off, I want your general impressions of the game, starting with you, Jimmy.
Where to start?
Well, where to start? Funny you say that. I didn't think it was a great start. I think we can all agree there. But lo and behold, for sure, the bench comes through. The depth of this team, which we've been talking about since they, started putting it together over the offseason, they came in. We're talking about Sullinger, who we didn't really expect to be talking about right now, but we will later, I think. Isaiah Thomas, who eventually got, he heated up. These guys came off the bench, as we're getting shot at here. These guys came off the bench and they stopped the bleeding. It wasn't like this massive comeback in the first quarter, but they stopped the bleeding. It looked like the Sixers, Okafor was going off for a bit there. They stopped it, and then in the second quarter, they went on that run there, and that second unit really came through, and that was the one thing that stood out to me.
Isaiah Thomas really came through.
Yeah, he got hot in the second quarter, in the third quarter.
In the fourth quarter.
He had 27 points off the bench. He was pretty hot for most of the game, I think we can say.
First quarter, he was cold.
But yeah, I mean, the main takeaway from this team is their depth, as you said. They went, without Kelly Olynyk, their three rookies, and James Young inactive, and still went 10 deep. Their two leading scorers came off the bench. Amir Johnson was their second leading scorer at 15.
Like legitimately 10 deep.
Three of their five double-digit scorers came off the bench. This is just a
great
polished team from top to bottom, all 10 guys that played. And, they arguably have 3, 4, 5, however you want to look at it, more guys that are going to get into some games this year. So, depth is it. Thomas is their best player. He's their guy. If there's a guy that stands out in their depth,
player.
Yes. If there's a guy that stands out in their depth, it's Thomas. But you still have to, for as long as he's the sixth man, you still have to count him as a bench player.
Right, but I do love the starting guards and Crowder in there. I love Smart, Bradley, and Crowder to start things off. I really do think, and Brett Brown said this earlier this morning, he's like, it really just kind of like punches you in the face when you start off that game with these three guys just right all up in your grill, just on-ball defense, like tenacious. And I think it really sets the tone for the rest of the team, like right from the get-go. Like, the shots weren't falling early for them in the first quarter. But the Sixers, they are the Sixers. The opposing team didn't jump out to this massive lead because I think they were still at least playing decent defense.
It's funny you said punch in the face, or Brett said punch in the face, because Jae Crowder, tonight especially, is kind of like the human embodiment of a punch in the face.
Yes.
The guy is just like, he's relentless, he drives right at you. Every single defensive play could be the last play of his life. We saw, tonight he had to guard Hollis Thompson. I wouldn't consider him the world's greatest small forward. I wouldn't even consider him a small forward.
Might be the 32nd best starting small
forward
in the league.
Probably the 35th best in the league.
But still, we got to give Crowder credit.
And he went 3 for 15 tonight, and he jacked up a ton of threes.
Yeah.
But it was great to see that Crowder left off exactly where he finished last year. And of all the guys that I wanted to see kind of really see them continue the progress they made, Crowder was someone that came to the Celtics as an effective bench player and a leader, but he wasn't really like a really good all-around player yet. And we're seeing that it's very clear that he is now, and he's probably going to be holding on to that starting small forward role. I wanted him to be the starting small forward. Everything he did tonight pointed towards him remaining that player.
Oh yeah, no, I think, and I'm not even joking, I think at the end of the season, we'll be talking about Crowder as one of the best defensive small forwards in the NBA. I really do believe that. I mean, if I know it's a small sample size, but it's just the way he plays defense where I know that's just not just going to go away. You know what I mean? The effort that he puts in and just kind of like his attitude on both ends of the court. I don't anticipate that going away. And he's a guy that's like, he's hungry. Like, he knows that, he was kind of overlooked in college. He was overlooked in his first couple years in the NBA. And yeah, he got that contract, but you're always playing for that next contract. And that's a contract where if he does end up being one of the better or best defensive forwards in the NBA, it's going to be an even bigger contract the next time.
The number's only going to go up. Last year, we talked a lot about him being similar to Draymond Green in a lot of ways. Yeah. And although I'm not going to sit here and tell you he is Draymond Green, that he's that good, he is Draymond Green light, whatever you want to call him. He's that type of player.
That mold.
Where, like you said, you're going to have bad shooting nights where you can't control that. Jae Crowder can control his effort every night, and every night it is there. So, like you said, it's not something that's going to go away. That's the perfect way to say it. Jae Crowder, probably his job is just about as safe on this team as anyone as the starting small forward. Maybe, Marcus Smart long term obviously is probably the most safe, but Smart and Crowder, that's as safe as you can get right now on this team. So he's going to be one of the leaders of this group all year, and based on, mostly effort, but he's going to be locked into that role.
Right, because that's kind of what this team's about. It's just like the effort and, just playing both sides of the ball.
And earning your spot in the rotation.
Right.
That you don't, just because you have a contract, just because you have a contract doesn't mean that you're that guy. Look at Amir Johnson. He came off the bench today, and he's, I guess, next to David Lee, he's the highest paid free agent acquisition on this team.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
For all we know, Amir Johnson's going to start the next game over David Lee.
He might be playing for next game. Yeah. All right, so let's get to our first regular season edition of the Grandstand Play of the Game. Grandstand sports highlights from fans in the stands on the new sports app Grandstand. You can share your own Celtics highlights and watch other fans' videos straight from the crowd. Download Grandstand on the App Store or visit grandstand.me. Let's go to the clip here. Avery Bradley with the tomahawk slam on the fast break. This is really the most exciting play of the game. And you can see the fans lost their mind. Avery got up there. His leaps, I've been seeing it throughout the preseason. It looks like he's jumping a few extra inches on his jumper. He's dunking better. So, Marcus Smart was really good. Avery Bradley, the numbers didn't look great for him tonight. But we're seeing, and there it is again. This is what the Garden Report's like here. We're in the middle of a war.
A lot of action.
Yeah. So, Avery Bradley, he didn't have a huge night. He had a couple big plays there. But the fact that him and Smart are out there getting the most minutes of anybody on this team, their backcourt partnership is looking really good, especially if Bradley continues what he did in the preseason and continues to be a good spot-up shooter.
No, and I agree. And one thing that Brad said before the game was that those three guys, Bradley, Smart, and Crowder, they're great cutters. And I know that might be like something that nobody cares about, but it really is important when you're talking about spacing on the floor and you're talking about easy baskets at the rim. Yep. These guys are quick. They don't. Everyone talks about Bradley's three-point shot. Brad Stevens would just as much see him cut to the hoop from the three-point line and get the easy two at the rim, and I think that's one of the reasons why he's in there. So yeah, Smart and Bradley, those guys, they're working well together. And actually, real quick, Bradley said, I believe it was Bradley, he said it a couple days ago that he thinks Smart's going to be one of the best NBA point guards, and like he said that. I don't know whether or not you believe him or not, but
it's high praise. It's Smart being a really an all-star point guard is definitely not far-fetched anymore, but I don't know if he's John Wall material yet.
No, not yet, but he didn't say tomorrow. But
he
sees that.
Will be John
sees
material.
That, I guess. He sees that in him.
Bradley didn't have a particularly good game tonight. He shot 2 of 6, 4 points. But, like
good defense.
Crowder, he's an effort guy. The defense is going to be there, and you can say that for all three of those guys. Smart and Crowder did play well tonight. And
they don't. Sorry to cut you up, but they don't need Bradley to drop 25 points a game when they've got Isaiah Thomas coming off the bench.
The words out of my mouth before I could say them, Jimmy.
Damn it!
They don't need Bradley to be a scorer. Smart, 13 points. It's tough to talk about the guard rotation. I don't want to talk about Isaiah Thomas now because we're going to get into him. But you talk about Smart and Bradley being the guard pairing, and that's not exactly what it is because Isaiah Thomas behind them is going to give them so much in the scoring department. Those two guys, Smart and Bradley, along with Crowder, are going to be all about the defense. And when you get 13 from one of them, Smart tonight, 14 from the other, Crowder, that's good enough. That's what they want.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back for part 2. If you're on our YouTube playlist, stay there. If you're not on the playlist for some ridiculous reason, I have no idea why you wouldn't.
Never YouTubed, bro?
Yeah. So, bro, you want to go to the playlist, watch the part 2 of the Garden Report, then you can watch all the locker room interviews afterwards. So this is the Garden Report powered by Grandstand on CLNS Radio and Celtics Blog. See you for part 2.
You know, that was just a lucky thing. I was lucky. The ball kind of wound up in my hands, and I couldn't pass it to a guard, so I had to bring it up. So I was lucky. I was blessed. God had my back.